Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Montreal, Canada, one of my favorite Grand Prix venues. Lovely circuit too, a lot of history. First attended this race in 1978 when it was held in the winter, and you may remember that race. Gilles Villeneuve won his first Grand Prix. It was a fairy story, but beyond that, it was snowing on the podium. That was what the Grand Prix was like for several years. It was always cold, it was always wet, windy, but these days, of course, it's midsummer in Canada, and it's usually hot, full of mosquitoes, quite humid. Very different feel to it. And other things have changed as well. But let's have a look at the circuit. You can see a bit of elevation there. Actually, when you're at the circuit, you don't really feel that elevation at all. To me, it's basically flat. Nice circuit. The best corner for watching, without any doubt at all, is the exit of 1 going into 2. And interestingly, there's a great spectator area where that number 2 is. Lots of grandstands. You can go up in the stands, or you can stand at ground level. The crowd are big there. And from that angle, you can see the cars coming out of 1, quite a lot of movement, and then they brake hard into 2. Of course, the real art here, and it's very difficult to see unless you're in exactly the right position. And to me, that's probably just 3 inches to the right of that number 2 there, of the cars as they come out of 1, some of the drivers creating a little flat car area to get the car stopped for turn 2. Very difficult to see, and it's microscopically quick. But the drivers, the very, very good drivers, will be doing that. Out of 2, the road does go up a little bit, I will concede that. And of course, the exit for 2 is critical. There's a bit of a straight there. And if you are sideways, you're running a bit wide, you've got too much oversteer, you will lose time on acceleration. It's a good place for a quicker, better driver to get down the inside on that run out of 2. Accelerating out of 2 into 3, you come to the bottleneck, particularly on the first lap. Pretty tight chicane, vicious curbs in the middle of the corner, and you see many cars hitting the wall coming out of turn 4. That's as a result usually of hitting the apex curb at 3. So something to be avoided if possible. But as I say, going into 3, not a lot of room there. You do get a run perhaps on that first lap coming out of 2. It's tempting to be there. 2 cars do fit, but they don't fit when it comes to the braking area, as we've seen. So watch that. It's a great television point for the opening lap of the race. Out of 4, I've watched many times by turn 5 on the outside of that right-hander. Very, very quick. It is flat, and it will be flat this year, but the car's even faster this year. And if you really want to get an impression of speed of the 2018 Formula 1 cars, that is a great place to be. Problem is, it's jungle there, and you've really got to be mates with the marshals to get a decent spot to look at them, but it absolutely makes your eyes water as you see them accelerate around that curve, turn 5. After that, you come to turn 6 and 7, pretty boring chicane, won't spend too much time talking about that. Accelerate out of 7 into the next chicane, which is slightly quicker, and famous, of course, for the corner on which Robert Kubica lost it on exit, went on the grass and had that massive shunt all the way down to turn 10, the hairpin. Turn 10, great place to watch. Always good to watch cars braking from very high speed, particularly if they're not wearing massive downforce. Not too much to say about the hairpin itself, but coming out of it, we enter a very historic part of the circuit, just after where it says number 11 there. That's where the old control tower and the pits used to be, and the garage area used to be at the back, effectively, of turn 10 in the old rowing sheds. The great thing about turn 13 and 14 is that there's a wall on the outside. Easy for me to say great, because I'm not the guy actually facing the wall on exit. These days, you see a lot of drivers going straight on at 13 and then rejoining on the slip road there. That's because they're slightly worried that maybe they are going to hit the wall with the entry speed they have, or maybe they braked a little bit too late or with a bit of angle on the car. But if you do get it wrong, coming out of turn 14, you can hit the wall hard. And that's why it's known as the Wall of Champions, because we have had races where many world champions have hit that wall. A couple of other comments to make about this lovely circuit just south of the downtown part of Montreal is that it is surrounded by water. Great atmosphere. You occasionally see huge tankers going down in the St. Lawrence Seaway outside the circuit as well. That adds a little bit to it, puts life into perspective. Overall, lovely Grand Prix circuit. Can't wait.
And welcome back once again, race fans, here to the Turn 3 Race Network. Tonight, Velocity Online Racing heads to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. That's right, up here, Montreal, across the border from my good old USA. But up here, gonna have quite a show, that's for sure, for tonight's Clip That Canadian Grand Prix. A few drivers already out there on their qualifying attempts. How you doing? How you feeling out there in race land? Glad you all could join us here tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network. As always, Darkside Dave in the cave bringing you all the calls from the trackside here tonight. Gavin Sanders, looks like Oscar Fredrickson, Matt Houston, Dakota DeMage, as well as Alex Van de Sant, Shane Coogan, Robert Sadler, Craig Forsyth, Diego Perino, and Christopher Kresge, all out there on their qualifying attempts right now. So I tell you what, excuse me, a little bit longer qualifying session here tonight for these drivers. 15-minute qualifying session for this Canadian Grand Prix here tonight. Drivers going to see how they can shake things up, how they can mix things up. This is the second road course of the season, so drivers going to have that push to pass available once again. We've seen that a few weeks ago. We'll have to wait to see who's on that push to pass button very early here. And I'll tell you what, let's go out now. Why don't we jump out there with a driver that's beginning to get up to speed, Marcus Hudson out there on track. Why don't we go down track side with Hudson on his qualifying time? As more drivers begin to put in a qualifying lap, get some times on the speed charts, we'll go ahead and throw some of that information up for you right there on the left-hand side of your screen. Gavin Sanders, top of the speed charts right now. Quick time, 1:21.83 for that driver. Alex Van de Sant, very close second, 1:21.87. Julian Altena, the 16-year-old right there, slotted in the third spot, 1:22.13. Altena goes top of the speed charts now with his second time lap, 1:21.62, so put that one machine up at the top of that scoring pylon. Hudson gonna cross the line. Let's see, begin his first time lap here. We'll take a ride with him around this 14 turn, 2.5 mile road course here in Montreal, Canada. Gonna be quite a show, I can assure you that. Down here, and I believe that is 3 and 4. Oh, there you see, on the gas just a little bit too soon. Rear end gets a little bit happy. We'll jump out now, see if we can't ride with another driver on the track. There you see the 6 of Robert Sadler. Sadler, one of the drivers from the Velocity Online Racing team, and Sadler with some trouble as well. Gonna see who else we see out there on track, see who's making a time lap. I tell you what, let's jump out there with the 12 of Oscar Fredrickson. Fredrickson going right back through that same familiar section. We've seen a few drivers struggle and have some troubles right through this little portion of the track already. On the throttle, go up through the corners. Fredrickson, another one of those Velocity Online Racing team drivers, and he's looking pretty good now heading into that back chicane and into turn 10 and out of the hairpin now as he makes his way back towards the long stretch before you hit the Wall of Champions. And as you heard in the pre-race show, the Wall of Champions coined that because it has caught lots of world-famous champion drivers out hitting that outside wall from time to time, overstep that inside curbing, and it's going to throw you right out to that outside wall, but able to make his way through that final section. Turn 13 and 14, Oscar Fredrickson going to turn in a 1:22.19 that time by. Looks like those red tires are the tires for the field. Looking through the timing and scoring, looking down there on the speedway, and looks like everybody out there does have those red wall tires on. We'll jump out there now with the 66 of Matt Houston as he makes his way around this track. Just about 10 minutes into tonight's 15-minute qualifying session, and Gavin Sanders has reclaimed that top spot by just a few tenths. Sanders turning in a 1:21.28, while Julian Altena sits back in the second spot right there with a 1:21.62. very slow through the hairpin as Houston back up through the gears on the throttle and on the gas. He's going to head around to the back stretch here and head towards the wall of champions once again. Almost called it the turn of champions. Thomas Gessler also out there on track. We'll join that 18 machine here momentarily. Take a few laps, few corners around the track here with that 18 of Thomas Gessler. There you can see him making his way back through, I believe that is turn 7-8. All right, there is 7-8. I apologize. That was 5 and 6. We'll check out a little bit of the sector times here for you today. Thomas Gessler right there in the 18 machine has Robert Sadler just behind him. Sadler not on the track right now, but sector 1 right there, 23:53 for Gessler, 25:36 for his second sector. Gotta have to pick that up just a little bit if he's going to want to battle for a spot inside the top 5. Gessler sitting right now in the 9th position. Gavin Sanders still at the top of your speed charts here in this qualifying session for the Clip That Canadian Grand Prix. Oh, and Gessler having a moment. He's off track. Looks like there's only 2 or 3 drivers out there on track still. We'll jump up now with that 93 of Maxie Stang. Stang with a 1:22.48 on his quick time, so just knocking on the door of the top 5. Just about 0.02 of a second off of Dakota Dimash, sitting right there in that last spot inside the top 5. But still, your provisional pole sitter as we have clicked down to just about 4 minutes remaining here in this 15-minute qualifying session. The Canadian Gavin Sanders hometown race, putting it at the top of the speed charts, representing very well here. Quick time for him, 1:21.28, about 0.4 faster than Altena. The 93 looking strong. Looks like the car's really glued to the track. Oh, and just like that, overstepping the boundaries just a little bit. And Maxie Stang gonna go for a spin. That's gonna do in that qualifying lap right there. And it looks like now with just about 3 minutes remaining here in qualifying tonight for the Canadian Grand Prix, brought to you by Clip That here in the Velocity Online Racing. Do have one more driver still out there on track. Looks like Marcus Hudson. He's bringing his 48 machine back towards the paddock area. He will put it into his qualifying attempts here. And now with just about 3 minutes remaining, we're going to get things set up, ready to go for your pre-race. Step away from the track for just a brief commercial break. We'll be right back after the national anthem here from Montreal. It's the Clip That Canadian Grand Prix.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Drivers already on their way towards that start-finish line. We'll get set to kick things off for the first time here tonight as your pole sitter brings the field to the green flag for the first time here tonight for the Canadian Grand Prix. Brought to you by Clip That. Green flag flies for the first time here at Montreal Circuit. Jill Villeneuve down into turn one. Field looks like they get through well and clear. Everybody makes their way off of turn number two. Now your race leader begins to gap the rest of the drivers behind him. Altena makes his way to second. Altena up to second on the speedway. Van de Sande gonna fall back to third. Oscar Fredrickson right there with a battle with Maxi Stang. That's still a top five spot. Battles all over through the field. Thomas Gessler right there breathing down the neck of the 27 of Craig Forsyth. They're back there battling for the 9th and 10th position on the track. Already on some of those push to pass buttons. A few of the drivers through the field. Looks like we've got about 3 drivers already pushing that push to pass button, trying to get a little bit of extra speed, trying to get a little bit more out of their cars. Doesn't look like anybody's really had any troubles out there. Timing and scoring still looks good. And oh, Christopher Kresge. Something has happened too. That 16 machine will go back, check in with Kresge as he is just behind Nick de Groot back there with the 17-18th spot. Christian Alacio right there in 19th. Just a half a second off of Kresge's rear wing right now. There you can see a long train of cars making their way down through these final chicanes. In the back stretch, that wall of champions is going to catch somebody out tonight, I can guarantee you. Meanwhile, back at the front of this field, lap number 2 underway out of the 35 scheduled in tonight's official race distance. Will continue around the track here tonight, checking out all different types of battles, all different drivers on the speedway. Altena right now able to keep that second spot from the start of this race. He's trying to close in, trying to close the gap down to Gavin Sanders, Canada's very own, leading the home country race here tonight. And there you can see already that gap beginning to reach just about a 1 second difference between Sanders and Altena. Gonna have to keep our eye on pit road. Which one of these drivers are gonna come down and get some different tires? You can see right there your top 2 drivers running those white wall tires, while Alex Van de Sande sitting right there in the 3rd spot. He is running those red wall tires, as well as Maxi Stang in that 4th position. So both of those drivers on the red wall tires here to start tonight's Clip That Canadian Grand Prix. Julian Altena now losing that spot to Alex Van de Sande. Van de Sande going to move up 1 position from where he started tonight's race. And the man enjoying that battle right now is Gavin Sanders, up to a 0.3 second advantage now over Van de Sant. Looks like Robert Sadler may have had a little bit of trouble, as well as Dave Stedman. We'll check this out, see what happened back here with Sadler. Looking forward, trying to see it. There you can see Sadler on the outside going into the chicane and just overstepping it a little bit, running off of the track. No harm, no foul there for Robert Sadler in that 6 machine, so he'll soldier on. Dave Stedman also with a little bit of an incident. That was right around the same time with Sadler. Both of those drivers were running pretty much identical on the raceway. There you can see after Sadler's trouble, Dave Stedman on the brakes real hard. That's going to cue up the timing and scoring that there may have been a problem. No harm, no foul. Those drivers stay green flag racing. Will jump up at the front of the field once again. And I say stay green flag racing because we're not seeing that local yellow fly here. Road rules apply. No full course cautions here tonight in round number 6 and season number 3 for Velocity Online Racing. You're watching the Clip That Canadian Grand Prix. Looking for some battles on track. We'll jump back to this one right here as Thomas Gessler, he has to make up 1.7 seconds in order to crack himself up inside the top 10. Running with a solid run right now, though, is Gessler. He's got Marcus Hudson right behind him, breathing down his neck. There you can see that 48 machine making his way off of, I believe, that have been turn number 5 and 6, coming into 7 and 8 right here and down the long stretch, once again heading towards turn 10, and then the Wall of Champions coming up after that, turns 13 and 14, so drivers all over the speedway. And as we've got multiple drivers all over this track, field beginning to get a little bit spread out, we'll throw that track map up there for you on the right-hand side of your screen just for a brief moment, just so you can get an idea of just how spread out these drivers are. Your race leader just now crossing that start-finish line. Drivers outside of the top 15 have yet to even hit the Wall of Champions. It looks like they're all gapped up right there at the front with each other on that track map. But over there on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see the gaps. You can see the distances between all of these drivers. And now over 1 second advantage for Gavin Sanders over the 17 of Alex Van de Sant. Isaac Morris now up to the 3rd spot, up 15 positions from where he started tonight's race. Isaac Morris, he is a man on a mission right now. Let's jump out here with this 63 driver, as he did have one of the quickest times in last night's race, making his way into tonight. Morris looking to repeat that speed once again here tonight, now making his way inside those podium spots. He'll continue his run towards the front. Still a very long way to go. Still 31 laps remaining here tonight. That is a very long distance. 2.6, I think it's 2.63 mile track here. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Beautiful, beautiful raceway surrounded by water, as you heard in the pre-race. So you get to see boats. You get to see some of the aquatic life and what it brings as well. Very serene, very calm and soothing right there with the amount of horsepower and just raw. I'm just going to leave that one alone. Just going to leave that one alone and move on. Van de Sant able to click off some distance. He's right there battling with Gavin Sanders. Could we see a pass for the race lead now? That top spot in danger. Sanders only leading by 0.7 of a second. And these two drivers, they have stepped away just a little bit from Isaac Morris, running in that 3rd spot, 1.6 seconds back from Van de Sant. There you can see Morris making his way out of the corner. Alton is still behind him. Maxie Stang, Oscar Fredrickson, Dakota DeMage, Matt Houston, Shane Coogan, Craig Forsyth round out your top 10. Hard into the hairpin. Van de Sant closes that gap, closes in right there all over him. And Van de Sant looks like he is being quite conservative on that push to pass button. Still all 10 pushes left in his back pocket. Same for Julian Altena as well as Maxi Stang. Other drivers right here inside that top 5, they've already pushed the button 1 to 3 times already. Your race leader, just 7 push to pass left. As we've got a battle, here comes the 17 on the outside going into turns number 1 and 2. Oh, jumping the curb. Van de Sant with some trouble. Van de Sant going to jump the curb. That's going to open the door for Isaac Morris. Morris looking to the inside. Not going to push the issue going into turn number 3. He'll slide in line and head at a 4. Following Van de Sant now, who is closing once again back onto Gavin Sanders into 5 and 6. To the inside, and contact between Morris and Van de Sant. And Van de Sant going to catch the short end of the stick on that one. Julian Altena, he's going to make his way by. So after a little contact between Isaac Morris and Alex Van de Sant has fallen back to the 4th spot now. And Isaac Morris, he's looking to try to go up there and snatch that race lead away from Gavin Sanders. Your pole sitter has led the entire race so far here tonight for the Clip That Canadian Grand Prix. Want to give a big shout out to Clip That, a brand new social media platform built for gamers by gamers. If you're looking to share your content, maybe just promote some already existing social media stuff that you have going on, or just want to come hang out and help grow a great community, head on over to Clip That. Also, another big shout out to Raceverse for sponsoring not only the $100 prize pool here for your top 5 finishers in season number 3, but also a $50 sponsor to the highest team, to the constructors winner. And right now, coming into tonight's race with a very commanding stranglehold on the points, on the team points, that is the constructors' points. Raceverse has pretty much got it on lock. They are about 100 plus points ahead of their closest competition. So big time shout out to Raceverse and Matt for everything he does behind the scenes to make everything happen and make everything work smoothly here. So a big tip of the hat and thank you from not just myself but all of the drivers out there in the field to both Clip That and especially Matt over there at Raceverse for all they do and continue to do here in Velocity Online Racing. Battle for the race lead. Sanders looks to the outside to try to keep it, but no, Isaac Morris gonna take it away. Inside lane heading into turn 13, 14. He pulls the pass off, heading through the wall of Champions Corner. And back down into turn 1, now commanding that top spot is Isaac Morris. While we watch this battle unfold, it looks like we've had a few drivers with a little bit of issues. We'll jump back here, see what happened with Oscar Fredrickson back here on that last lap, back on lap number 8. Let's see what happened to that 12. Oh, just up and over one of those curbs, and an innocent mistake becomes a nightmare. Christian Alejo also with some trouble. There you can see the 81 trying to make his way through this little chicane here. I believe that is turn number 5 and 6. Up on the gas and on the curb and around Alejo goes. Craig Forsyth also with an on-track incident back here on lap number 9. We'll check out and see what happened here to Forsyth. And it looked like just hard on the brakes, lock up, a front right lock up. And Forsyth forced off track for the time being. We'll jump back up front now with a battle with the race lead. Gavin Sanders has Julian Altena behind him. Right there it is. There you can see the Sanders, and just behind him you'll begin to see Julian Altena begin to make his way into the screenshot. There you can see him Altena battling with Van de Sant. That's for the third and fourth spot as Sanders tries to somehow run back down Isaac Morris, who has stepped away now to a 1.7 race advantage as we work our way around the track. Lap number 10 now underway out of the 35 scheduled in tonight's official race distance for the Clip That Canadian Grand Prix. And as drivers close in on right around that halfway point already here tonight, putting down a furious pace here in Montreal Circuit, Gilles Villeneuve for round number 6 in season number 3 for Velocity Online Racing. Thank you all for joining us. If you haven't already, throw these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash that bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. We're watching Gavin Sanders as he tries to make his way back up to your race leader. And as we reach the 25 lap to go mark, we'll run down through your top 10 with a little driver highlight, a little spotlight, if you will. Here you can see that 63 being piloted by Isaac Morris, the 21-year-old doing a fine job so far here tonight. Made his way up through the field from way back in the pack, up 17 spots from where he started. Now running in that top spot. Driver just behind him had control over the race for multiple laps. Your pole sitter, Canada's very own Gavin Sanders, running in the second spot. The 16-year-old Julian Altena out of Velocity Online Racing Stable. There you can see that one machine just in front of one of his closest competitors, battling for that third spot now as Altena has control of that third and final podium spot here tonight. We'll jump back a little bit of information there you see for Alex Van de Sant in the 17, another very young driver, and he's going to make his way by Altena that time by. Put Van de Sant now up into the third spot as Altena drops to fourth. Back in the fifth position here today, there you can see that 93 of Maxi Stang, another very young cat out there piloting his Dallara IR-18 around a very technical, very quick, very historic circuit. Gilles Villeneuve running in the fifth and final spot. Dakota Damage right here running in the sixth spot. Yet another Indiana American-born driver. The 24-year-old has that 82 looking sweet, like that Echo Blade Race First paint scheme that Dakota's got on here tonight. That livery looks pretty sweet. Back in the seventh spot, there you can see Race Verse's very own 20-year-old Matt Houston piloting his 66 machine right now, sitting in the seventh spot, but we've still got some green flag pit stops to go through, so look for possible mix-ups and shake-ups as we continue to click off the laps here tonight in the Clip That Canadian Grand Prix. Back in the eighth position, there you can see Shane Coogan straight out of Indianapolis, a 26-year-old driver trying to make up a little bit to ground. He's well off the pace, about 3 seconds off of Houston just in front of him. Driver running in the ninth spot, there you can see the 23-year-old Oscar Fredrickson, also one of those Velocity Online Racing Team drivers. Good solid run so far here tonight for Fredrickson, just inside your top 10, running in the ninth position. The driver rounding out your top 10 here tonight from Nikki Racing. There you can see Luis Gonzalez Nunez. Nunez has been to victory lane so far one time this season. Can he get there tonight? Gonna have a very tall task on his hands if he's gonna want to get that done. He's upwards of 25 seconds behind your race leader, but still pushing for some positions. Few back markers trying to make his way by. Nunez going to go to the outside here after turn 5 and 6. Head down into chicane 7 and 8 here. or 8 and 9. I apologize. I always get those a little bit mixed up and out of whack, but still nobody on the pit road for their pit stop. We're going to have to keep our eye on that. We're going to have to keep our eye on a lot of things going to go up to this battle here. There you can see Matt Houston, Shane Coogan, those two drivers battling for a spot on the speedway. Oscar Fredrickson just behind Coogan. That's a little closer battle right there between those two drivers. And I tell you what, we'll let you see how they're running relative to each other. Throw up the sector times here for you between Coogan and Fredrickson. There you can see Fredrickson just a little bit off. Oh, and a big time moment there off of turn number 2. Didn't look like Coogan got the power down the way that he needed to. Fredrickson closed right up in on that rear spoiler, not able to make his way by yet, but still, that is one heck of a run. This is the closest battle on track as the drivers continue through sector number 2. We'll wait to see who is the fastest, and it looks like Fredrickson gonna take that spot away. Fredrickson now faster on the speedway, and he... very interesting. Jumping back to a few other drivers. Looks like we've got some more battles on the speedway. Here you can see Dakota Namaj sitting just in front of Matt Houston. Houston trying to close in, trying to take over that 6th spot and look a little further down the road, see if he can't get up and battle for a spot inside the top 5. Maxie staying about 5 seconds in front of this 2-car battle between Dakota Damaj and Matt Houston as they head through turns 3 and 4. Not much to say about the front of the field right now. Isaac Moore, since taking over the race lead, he has controlled this race ever since. He's now out to almost a 3-second race advantage right now. 2.6 seconds to be exact. Gavin Sanders sitting about 4 seconds in front of Alex Van de Sande. Then Van de Sande has quite a bit of gap back to Julian Altina. So your podium drivers here pretty spread out as we have had a long run here. Nobody really having catastrophic issues. Nobody listed off of the track except for one driver here tonight. Looks like Gary Gazzo has had some bad luck here tonight. Slotted in that 24th and final finishing spot here tonight. We have still got 19 drivers left on the lead lap out of the 24 that took to the starting grid. Christopher Kresge being shown as the first driver off the lead lap. First driver 1 lap down, running back in the 19th position. Back to the front with the man of the minute, the man of the hour, leading this race, controlling it. Able to set the pace, able to reel things back if he needs to. He's got a gap that he can control. But make no mistakes about it, race fans. You can't be too complacent in these cars. You have to drive them. They almost force you to drive them. Sometimes taking it easy can get you out of your rhythm, off of your game, out of your racing line. And you can give up quite a bit of time very easily, especially in a race like this, a road course with 14 corners. That is a lot of different spots that drivers can make or break their lap time. Gonna check in through the field on a few drivers here tonight. Tell you what, let's check back in with a driver that started outside the top 5, but now running inside that top 5, able to make up one position from where he started tonight's race. Now controlling that 5th and final spot inside the top 5. Maxie staying in his 93, looking for a little bit more speed, looking to see if he can't run down Alex Van de Sant. He's got 3 seconds to go if he's going to want to get there. Few drivers going to run into some back markers as well as we continue this run here tonight for the Canadian Grand Prix here in the Velocity Online Racing, brought to you by Clip That in partnership with Raceverse. And we've seen Morris dominate before at the front of the field, and there he goes, breaking off for pit road. Morris gonna come get some fuel in tires, give up that race lead. That will put the lead in this man's hands, and he is indeed gonna stay out on track, as Julian Altena also gonna stay out on track. Alex Van de Sant gonna bring his 17 machine to pit road, and will the undercut work here for Van de Sant and Matt Houston? He brings his machine back to pit road as well. Or will this long run pan out for Gavin Sanders, Julian Altena, Maxie Stangen, Dakota Damage? Now, last driver inside your top 5. Isaac Morris being scored in 5th, but still making his way out of pit road. And indeed, he's going to rejoin the raceway. He's going to rejoin the track right there in that 5th spot. Oh, and contact. Gavin Sanders. Looked like there was contact right there. Looked like John Christensen may have had some trouble. We'll take a look back here. There you can see Christensen with some trouble. One more look. Bart Feurenstein as well as John Christensen, both of those drivers involved in that one. And that was right in front of your race leader, Gavin Sanders. That could have ended bad for your race leader as he makes his way out of the hairpin and now back up towards the Wall of Champions. Turn 13 and 14 here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Looks like more drivers heading to pit road. Gavin Sanders, the 44 of John Christensen, also going to bring his machine to pit road. Altena and Stang, Dakota Damage, Isaac Morris. Looks like he very well may inherit this race lead once again through the Wall of Champions corner, coming down the front stretch. Drivers not out of pit road just yet, and Morris gonna have a huge lead at the end of this round of green flag pit stops. Oh my goodness. Big time lead, big time gap now. Back to Gavin Sanders running in that second position. It says 6 seconds right now, but I can assure you that's probably going to grow here just a little bit over the next lap or two. Damage, Houston, Gessler, Fredrickson, and Perino all on the pit road, this time by with 17 laps remaining here tonight in the Canadian Grand Prix. Multiple drivers having great races so far here tonight. Want to talk about Canada's very own, the Canadian Gavin Sanders, gonna be joining that Velocity Online Racing stable for season number 4. That's right, you heard it first here tonight at the Canadian Grand Prix, joining the likes of Julian Altena, Oscar Fredrickson, and Gary Gonzo will be this driver right here the man on screen, Gavin Sanders in the 90. We'll pop him up on screen for you right there. You have him. He will be joining that Velocity Online Racing stable next season, season number 4, taking over for Robert Sadler, as Sadler has to step away. Some school duties, some school importance needing to be taken care of, so Sadler going to step away for just a brief time from the speedway, from the tracks, from the racing, get the school taken care of. Then we can look to see Robert Sadler rejoin us. I could have probably imagined back in season number 5. Once again, once he gets all of that taken care of, so some big time season number 4 news coming up for you. And I want to highlight this driver just a little bit more. As we said, Canada's very own, was the Eastern Canadian Carton Vice Champion back in 2018, and just recently won a big-time event here on iRacing.com, the world's #1 racing simulator. That's right, winning the prestigious, very well-known here on iRacing, Daytona the 24 Hours of Daytona. That's right, Gavin Sanders pulling off the victory in the GTE class, so a heck of a job. Big-time shout-out on that accomplishment. Sanders making some big splashes here in 2021 already. Nobody in sight except a few back markers out his windscreen. I'm telling you what, this driver right here, Isaac Morris, will jump down on board now, ride a lap around here with that 63, as he has been on a tear. Just fast lap after fast lap after fast lap, able to make his way by the back marker pretty easily. Man, I tell you what, it has got to be a good feeling to be that good here tonight. With under 15 laps remaining, your race leader, the 63 of Isaac Morris, enjoys an 8.5 second race advantage there. You can see a look back at that driver as he pilots that 63 machine. Heck of a job out there, commanding lead as we work our way around the track down into the hairpin. Once again, your race leader, Isaac Morris, closing in once again on some more back markers. Now just 14 drivers left on the lead lap here tonight. Robert Sadler being scored as the last driver on the lead lap. He does have about 20 seconds between himself and Isaac Morris, so quite a bit of a buffer zone, but Morris is looking to chomp that in half very, very quickly. Not too many battles for position on the raceway, so we'll jump to this one right here as we've got drivers in the grass. Thomas Gessler goes around and off track. John Christensen also goes off track. Right in front of this battle right now for position, that's a spot in the top 10. There you can see Oscar Fredrickson trying to make his way up inside that top 10, trying to take that last spot in the top 10 away from Craig Forsyth in the 27. Fredrickson, driver out of Sweden, was the runner-up in last season, season number 2 here for Velocity Online Racing. If you remember, that race at Auto Club didn't quite go Fredrickson's way. Ended up walking away in second in the point standings last season to Julian Altena, running in the 3rd spot here tonight. Altena back-to-back season championships here in the Velocity Online IndyCar Championship. Also was the Season 5 driver champion back in the F1 2019 game. So Altena very familiar with these road courses and how they run. still watching this battle for the 10th spot. Last spot inside that top 10. Craig Forsyth in the 27 has it fresh on the gearbox right there. Trying to take the spot away is Forsyth. Gonna jump high above the track now with one of the helicopter cams here tonight at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, the Montreal track. That's right, the Clip That Canadian Grand Prix underway. Just 12 laps remaining. It has been a hot and heavy battle between multiple different drivers. We've got a battle right here for that final spot inside the top 10. And now Fredrickson gonna use the push to pass and make his way by. And now Fredrickson clocked in that final spot inside your top 10. Looking through the timing and scoring information, looking through all the push-to-pass information given to us here tonight, and it looks like multiple drivers out there still yet to use their push-to-pass. Gary Godso still has all 10, as well as Bart Feurenstein. Anthony Concha, as well as I believe that is Nick DeGroot. It is Nick DeGroot in the 89 machine, still yet to push that push-to-pass, and another driver inside your top 5 has yet to push that push to pass. We'll jump up here with Alex Van de Sande as he crosses the line. 11 laps left to go in tonight's Canadian Grand Prix by Clip That. Clip That, a brand new social media platform built by gamers for gamers. If you're looking to get your stuff out there, if you're looking to collaborate with a few other gamers, toss some ideas around. If you're just looking to already promote things that you've got going on already, head on over to Clip That. And since Oscar Fredrickson was able to make the pass on Craig Forsyth, he has stepped away. No battle to remain through the field. Looks like everybody gapped up quite a bit. Just about 1.5 seconds is your smallest gap, and that is from Fredrickson back to Forsyth. After making the pass on the last lap, Fredrickson has set sail and set himself up with quite a good little gap. Anthony Concha looks like he may have had a recent race incident. We'll check the replay, see if we can't cue that up and find out what happened to Concha. It looks like producer's giving us that thumbs up, so we'll take a look back here, see what happened with Anthony Concha as he made his way down into, I believe, that is the hairpin right there. Concha in that 64, cooking it. A little bit of a lockup. He runs wide. No harm, no foul for Concha. And Oscar Fredrickson, oh no, Fredrickson with a moment. He had an issue. And because of this issue right here on screen, heading down into the hairpin, hard on the brakes, overshoots it and spins it. That's going to give Craig Forsyth just enough to get back by, put Forsyth back inside the top 10. That is a hot and heavy battle once again between those two drivers. We'll jump up with that battle as they continue to try to see who's going to have that final spot in the top 10. Some back markers making their way into the mix as well. There you can see, I believe that's the 81 of Christian Alacio right in front of Craig Forsyth and Oscar Fredrickson battling out for the top 10. Blue flag being displayed, and Alacio gonna move on down to the inside of the raceway. Give that outside line to your lead lap cars. The cars battling for position as they make their way off of that chicane corner exit and head back down here to the hairpin once again. Can Fredrickson find that breaking point? It looked like a little bit of a lockup as we've seen some tire smoke off of that 27 of Craig Forsyth. Under 10 laps remaining, battle for a spot inside the top 10. Craig Forsyth has Oscar Fredrickson. They have Marcus Houston in their Hudson in their sights now. Hudson, driver running in that 9th position. The 48 machine up 4 spots from where he started tonight's race with a good run so far here, but now he is in trouble as Craig Forsyth, Oscar Fredrickson begin to close the gap, begin to close the distance in on them. And there you can see that 48 machine just trying all he can to keep Craig Forsyth at bay. They're going to make their way through. I believe that is 7 and 8. That was either 6 or 7 or 7 and 8. There you go. Turn 8 and 9, and now back down the long stretch here to that hairpin. Once again, turn 10 and 11. Small little right-hander right here for Marcus Hudson. That's turn number 12. Just off in the distance there, you can see driver in front of him. I believe that may have been Shane Coogan making his way into 13 and 14, the Wall of Champions corner. And it doesn't look like we've had anybody caught out by that outside wall there in turn 14. So all these drivers navigating through that tricky little spot of the track. The final few corners there on the track, looks like everybody's been able to navigate that pretty easily so far here tonight as your race leader. I tell you what, dominating performance. Isaac Morris continues to pound the pavement, continue to smash that gas, and continues to lead tonight's race up 17 spots from where he started tonight's race, and now sitting in that top spot with just 7 laps remaining around this 2.6 mile track here in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. That's right, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve on tap here tonight for the Clip That Canadian Grand Prix, race number 6 in season number 3 for Velocity Online Racing. Blue flags being displayed for some of the back markers. They're going to move right on out of the way. Robert Sadler not having anything for your race leader. Not going to put up a fight, not going to put up a battle at all. And now Diego Perino right there in front of him. Driver sitting in that 30 machine running in the 12th spot. He's going to try to keep himself on the lead lap, and that is just the pace that these drivers have been pounding the pavement here tonight in Montreal, Canada. Isaac Morris going to put Perino down a lap here, maybe in the next 2 to 3 laps, and that will leave us with just 11 drivers left on the lead lap here in tonight's Canadian Grand Prix. Battle still raging on between these two drivers. That is a battle for the final spot in the top 10. Craig Forsyth, Oscar Fredrickson still knows the tail, still battling for a position. Down into the hairpin, Fredrickson on the brakes. Nice and smooth, looking for a good run off of the corner exit and head off towards that Wall of Champions corner. Not going to have enough gap, not going to have enough slipstream to try to poke his nose out into the inside here coming to turn 13. Nope, going to have to hit the brakes and stay right behind that rear wing, right on the gearbox of Craig Forsyth. And it's a little bit surprising as Forsyth and Fredrickson continue this battle. Hudson not able to really step away. The 48 just 1.3 seconds in front of this 2-car battle, but not really being able to step away when these drivers got really hot and heavy on the battle. Typically we see drivers able to scoot away just a little bit, so the pace is falling out of that 48 machine. Marcus Hudson struggling now to try to find some pace, struggling to try to keep that 9th spot away from Forsyth or Fredrickson. These two continue this battle with just 5 laps remaining. Here tonight, we're going to go ahead and run through the field, do a little bit of house cleaning as we typically do. Tonight, we took 24 drivers to the starting grid for the Clip That Canadian Grand Prix. We have still got 20 drivers out of there on the track, and we have still got, it looks like 12 drivers left on the lead lap. Perino actually being scored 1 lap down now as Greg Forsyth loses that 10th spot. He'll be scored and listed as the last driver on the lead lap. So we've still got 11 drivers left on the lead lap with just 5 laps remaining for when the race leader makes his way back by the start finish line this time by. And there he is. There he goes into turn 13 and 14. That 63 looking mean at the front of the field. A little bit of pace falling off now. Look at that gap over there on the left-hand side of your screen, race fans. That gap was up around 7-8 seconds. Now all the way down to 4.5 seconds. So slowly but surely, Sanders has been able to click off faster laps here and there. Last time by, quick time on the speedway, fastest lap of the race, or fastest lap that time by, I should say, for Gavin Sanders, 1:23.42. That is a second quicker than your race leader. Battle still raging on between Forsyth and now Marcus Hudson. That battle is for a spot inside the top 10. The 9th and 10th spot to be exact. They are just a handful of seconds in front of your race leader, Isaac Morris, as there are now just 4 laps to go in tonight's Clip That Canadian Grand Prix. We'll jump back to this battle right here as Oscar Fredrickson has found a way, has made up 2 positions in the last 3 laps here. So Fredrickson finding the speed, finding the pace late in the going, now running in the 9th position here. Marcus Hudson gonna fall back to the 10th and final spot inside the top 10. Do want to give a little bit of a rundown. Oh my goodness, in trouble right in front. Trouble right in front of Fredrickson and Houston. Christopher Kresge with some trouble. Looks like himself and John Christensen get involved in a little bit of on-track incident. We'll take a look back real quick at this one, see how it all went down. There you see the trouble that Christensen had, and now Kresge's troubles. And just looping it off the corner and very close to being just absolutely run over right there by Oscar Fredrickson. That was awfully close. Now Fredrickson able to gap the 48 1.4 second race advantage for Fredrickson over Houston. The man at the front continues to be that 63. Since grabbing the race lead, he has not looked back. Popsicle sticks now with 2 to go, with your race leader Isaac Morris at the front of the field, enjoys a 4.1 second advantage over Gavin Sanders running in the 2nd spot. Julian Altena right there rounding out your podium positions. Alex Van de Sant sitting back in the 4th spot, rounding out your top 5 as they run. Matt Houston, Dakota DeMage back in 6th and 7th. Shane Coogan, Oscar Fredrickson, Marcus Houston back in 9th, rounding out your top 10. Last driver on the lead lap, Craig Forsyth. Morris down into that hairpin. Gonna have to navigate the wall of Champions Corner one more time. Then we will see that white flag fly. It will be the final lap here tonight in the Clip That Canadian Grand Prix for Velocity Online Racing Season number 3, race number 6. In this 9-race season, we've still got a few tracks to hit to before we will crown a champion here in season number 3. Rerun to Pocono, Michigan, then finish things up with a great race night down at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. That's right, Gateway on tap for championship night here for Velocity Online Racing, and white flag has been displayed. Final lap here tonight from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the Velocity Online Racing Clip That Canadian Grand Prix. Isaac Morris looks to walk away with the race win. Fastest on the track for the longest time here tonight. He had himself 0.8 of a second, now 0.3 back, 3 seconds back to Sanders. Sanders closing but not able to do anything with Isaac Morris in time. Morris now going to make his way into the hairpin for the final time here tonight. Clean track, smooth sailing in front of Morris. He's just got to navigate little right-hander right here, but really just got to navigate 2 more corners, and he will walk away with the race win here tonight. Down into turn 13. Off of turn 14 for the final time, heading towards the stripe. Race winner, the 63 of Isaac Morris, walks away with the trophy here tonight from Montreal with the Canadian Grand Prix, enjoying his celebrations already. There you can see him, very happy driver inside of that number 63. Gavin Sanders going to cross the line back in the second spot. Julian Altena, there you can see Altena sliding through right now in that one machine, walking away with the 3rd place here tonight. And as you see Isaac Morris continuing to enjoy his post-race celebrations, we're going to get things set up for your post-race interview. So with that being said, race fans, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. back trackside here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve at the conclusion of race number 6. That's right, the Clip That Canadian Grand Prix in the books. We'll see if we can't catch in and have a few words with some of the podium finishing drivers here tonight. Let's see if we can't dial up the driver walking away in the 3rd spot here tonight. Final driver in the podium spots here, the one of Julian Alternates. Dave in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Hey, man, how you doing? How you feeling? Great run for you tonight here. What do you say, man? Good job.
Yeah, it was way better than I expected, if I'm going to be completely honest. Entering this race, I was a little bit nervous because I think it was 2.5 months ago, I did another league race around here, and that was a different setup, but it was really tricky on the tires. And I made a couple of big mistakes on the first lap, so I went into this race with pretty much zero confidence. So I was talking to Gavin as well, who was on the pole. Like, I'm going to try to, keep it a little bit together and just keep it on the track, and that's what I tried to do. You saw later on in the race as well, I think it was Alex go, because I saw he was way faster behind me, and I was just scared that he would hit me up the rear because he was just so much faster. So yeah, I didn't really see a point in fighting that much. It's really against my nature because I always fight everything as hard as I can, but I just wanted to play it safe for once. Take the points, because I am usually known on road courses for spinning out, which I didn't do for once, so that's another really big achievement for me. I'm really happy to get a really consistent run around here, 0x as well, so no off tracks or anything, so I'm really proud of that. So yeah, overall really positive race tonight. I just want to congratulate Isaac on the win and Gavin on P2. Don't know if you mentioned it on stream, but Gavin has joined Team VOR for season 4 next season, so that's exciting. He's going to be my teammate next season. Yeah, I just want to thank my team as well for working together in the practices, passing out all the tools and everything in the car. And although we found some really good settings right away, I think we really worked together quite well this week. So yeah, thanks to those guys, Gary, Robert, Oscar, and in a way Gavin as well, because he's in the team channels now. So thanks to those guys, and you as well for streaming.
Well, Julian, I'm gonna kick down the door on the big elephant in the room, if you will, the monkey on some of the people's backs around here. Back-to-back season champion, season 1, season 2. We're in season 3 here. Only 3 races remaining. What do you give your chances to walk away with a 3rd championship? Can you complete the 3-peat with just 3 races remaining?
I always say it's not over until it's over, but my chances are definitely thinning out. So yeah, I honestly don't really know what to expect for the last couple of races. We've had 6 races now, so we got 3 to go. Pocono is usually one of my stronger tracks. Michigan also. Gateway not so much. So it's going to be an interesting title fight. I think it's really going to be between Isaac and Dakota, actually, who's now 2nd in the standings, I believe, entering this race. So I think it's going to be between those 2. I wouldn't say that I am in a direct shot at it, but I wouldn't rule myself out just yet. But I don't really think it's that likely at all. But yeah, we'll see. Of course, the 2 championships that I had, they were really hard fought as well. We had some really good competition in there, but this season has just been on another level. So, I don't really blame myself for not being quite up to the standards, I guess, of Isaac and the other guys up front. But yeah, we'll see what we can do next week at Pocono.
All right, Julian. Well, it was great to catch up with you once again here in the post-race interviews. Congratulations on that 3rd place. Before we let you go, though, you got any final few shout-outs, love views, I-do's, or thank yous for anybody out there?
So, yes, of course, I just want to thank my team once again, Gary, Robert, Oscar, and Gavin as well for season 4. I want to thank you for streaming. I really appreciate that. So, yeah, it's been great to have you this season. And, yeah, I want to thank Matt as well for sponsoring the league. Really great member of the league as well, good friend of mine as well. So, thanks to him for being a part of this league. And really, that's about it. So, yeah, thank you as well.
All right, there you have it. Final few words from the man walking away in the 3rd and final podium spot here tonight. Last year's season winner, season 1 winner, looking for the 3-peat but a little bit behind the 8 ball with just 3 races remaining, but giving himself a good shot at it here tonight, walking away in the 3rd spot, the one of Julian Altena. That's going to lead us to our 2nd place finisher. Let's see if we can't catch in a quick word or two here with the driver inside of that 90 machine, going to be moving to Velocity Online Racing next season. Let's see if we can't dial up and have a quick word with Gavin Sanders. Is Dave in the booth? You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Hey, man, how you doing? How you feeling?
Pretty sweaty after that one. That was an intense race.
Well, you had the race lead kind of taken away from you there by Isaac Morris, but how good did it feel to sit on the pole position and lead a ton of laps here in your home country, hometown race, so to speak? I know it's not your hometown, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It just sounds better than home country, but, yeah. How does that make you feel knowing that you had it right there and then just kind of halfway through it kind of all went away?
It feels really good to have the pace here and everything. Obviously, it's a big advantage knowing the track and being familiar with it. But I think we went the wrong way with the blacks, so that was unfortunate. I think that was more the reason why. Like, I had a bit of damage towards the end of the first phase of the race before we pitted, but the blacks definitely didn't help, and Isaac just pulled like crazy. He was on rails. But no, I'm really happy. I'm really proud. It's a good race, and I love this track. It's a lot of fun, especially with these cars. It's so nimble and agile, and it just makes it a whole bunch of fun.
Well, Gavin, some big news coming out this week about next season, season number 4. Already some big moves happening and going on. You're joining the Velocity Online Racing team. Talk us through how that came about and how big of a decision was that for you to make?
I kind of came about through Julian messaging me, kind of asking around. I guess, well, we've been racing against each other in the Reddit League and in here, been competitive with each other, and you messaged me and asked if I wanted to join. They have an opening for next season, and I'm more than excited to jump on. I've always wanted to kind of be, never mind league racing, on a league team, and kind of get to, especially in the sim, kind of throw ideas back and forth and use each other to kind of better ourselves. That's something I've always missed through being a privateer in all these sort of leagues. But I'm really excited, really looking forward to it. And season 4 calendar looks amazing. And yeah, I think through the whole processing of it, I was just really excited to be joining one of the competitive teams in this league.
Well, Gavin, again, congratulations on a great, solid run here tonight. You had the pole position. You led a handful of laps here tonight, so you're going to walk away with some points off of that, but also a good, solid points day for you and that 90 crew. So looking forward throughout these next 3 races, we do hope we get to catch up with you again in a post-race interview. Is there any one of these last 3 tracks, Pocono, Michigan, or Gateway, that kind of stand out to you as your best shot at a race win?
I'd say Pocono if I can get the strategy right, but that's definitely not one of my assets. I think Gateway is a good one for me. I'm better off at the more technical ovals. I think the pack racing is definitely one of my weaknesses, but obviously looking to better on that and hope for the best at Michigan.
All right. Well, again, Gavin, we do appreciate the time here in the post-race interview, you coming over to give us a little bit of chat and some insight about where you are and where you're going in the future. We do appreciate you having a little bit of fun with us here in the booth. And before we let you go, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on the side of that machine?
Definitely big shout-out to my dad, my mechanic, Vic. They're both watching. And to all my friends who might still be watching, we'll see. But yeah, big shout outs to them. I appreciate all the support.
All right. Well, we'll catch up with you a little bit later in the season, possibly next week at Pocono.
Sounds good. I'll see you then.
There you have it. Final few parting words from the driver making some big moves, not just here tonight in the Clip That Canadian Grand Prix, but big moves heading into season number 4. Gonna be joining Velocity Online Racing Team. So Gavin Sanders, big time things happening for him on and off the track, walking away in a solid second place here tonight. And that's going to bring us to the one and only, the driver walking away with the race win here tonight. Driver inside of that 63 machine. Let's see if we can't get in a quick word with that race winner, Isaac Morris. It's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
I do, Dave.
Hey, man, once again, you're in a post-race interview. How you doing? How you feeling after that race win?
I'm feeling really good after that race, man. Honestly, it was possibly my best race I've ever run. That was something else.
Walk us through some tire strategy and some of the pit stop strategy. You ran a little bit shorter on that first stint, but was able to just absolutely gap the field and had quite a bit of gap to play with there at the end.
Yeah, so the strategy was like, so obviously we do like a lot of practice for these races, so like we can then kind of understand where the strategy is going to go. So we knew that the fastest strategy was going to be doing a double red race, not a black and then a red tire sort of race. And so we were talking in the team and we were like, look, reds are going to be quicker. They're just going to fall off towards the end, just going to have to try and not spin or burn up the tires too quickly. And I was thinking as well, like I managed to get past Gavin pretty early and try and like gap him a little bit. I think I managed to pull like a 2.5 second gap. And then I was looking then at my tires and they were feeling a bit weird. They were feeling a bit pushy. I think that's from like the start of the race. And then I did the undercut to see if I could get out on fresh tires, put in a good out lap and then a good second lap as well to put even more of a gap on Gavin, because that first lap would have been better for me because my tires would have been fresh and it would have been like maybe 1.5 seconds faster, and then it would be the same for the second lap. So I was trying to like pull that gap a little bit.
Now, looking at the push to pass here, push to pass only available in the road course racings here in the Dallara RI-18 machines. You still got a few of them in your back pocket. Was there any point there towards the end when that gap kind of was slowing, when those tires were falling off, that you felt you may have to start hitting that button a little bit more?
I was only using it like when I felt like I could pull like 1 or 2 tenths on Gavin. I was always judging like how quickly he was going into the hairpin, because you can usually judge if they gain on you coming in, they're going to lose coming out. So every time he gained on me in the hairpin, I was thinking, okay, like there's no need to use push to pass here because I'm just going to gain that lead back up. And there was like a few laps where he didn't gain on me, so I knew he's going to get a better exit. So those few laps I was using the push to pass, and they are quite detrimental to your fuel. They do use a lot more of your fuel than expected, so you do have to use them wisely. And towards the end of the race, because I knew I didn't need to use them, I kept them and also saved a bit of fuel too.
Well, the pit strategy worked, the tire strategy worked. You walked away with a commanding win here tonight. You led the most laps here in the Clip That Canadian Grand Prix. So again, Isaac, congratulations on the race win here tonight. Before we let you go and enjoy the night, would you like to give any shout outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody else on that 63 team?
So I'd like to thank Matt and Dakota for being so Matt being my team boss and Dakota being my teammate. They helped me out quite a bit in this race actually by letting me pass soon so I could keep progressing up the field, and I really appreciate those two guys for helping me out. Also shout out to Race First, they're doing a great job and they're helping me do a good job in this league. Want to thank VOR for organizing the league and doing such a good job again. The season 4 signups have just opened up, so if people are interested in doing ovals and road courses in a good organized league, then I highly recommend coming over to Velocity Online Racing and taking part in a really good league. And I would like to thank my brother as well. I'm not too sure if he's watching, but he said he was. But yeah, I want to thank him, and I want to thank a few of the guys as well that were watching the stream. So that'd be David, Dower, and Amari. Those guys were cheering me on from the grandstands.
Well, Isaac, again, my man, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you in these post-race interviews, and we look forward to catching up with you in the next 3 weeks, these closing weeks in that run to the championship, and who knows, we may be talking to you at the end of this all with a championship trophy. We'll have to wait to see how all that plays out, but again, my man, congratulations, great race win here tonight.
Hey, thank you very much, Dave.
And there you have it. Those were your final words from your race winner here tonight. Isaac Morris inside that 63 machine, piloting his way to the front of the field, up 17 spots from where he started tonight's race. Man, that is a huge, huge gain. That is a big time pick up. Race number 6 now in the books for Velocity Online Racing. The Clip That Canadian Grand Prix has come to a close, and it looks like things beginning to come to a close here at the track. And up in the booth, looks like we're going to start rolling up a few of the wires and get things ready and set up to head off to Pocono, the Tricky Triangle, next the Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. right here on Turn 3 Racing Network. And with producers hitting those buttons, you know what that music means. It's time to run down tonight's unofficial race results, walking away with the race win here tonight, the 63 of Isaac Morris. Gavin Sanders going to finish in the second spot, walking away in the third and final podium spot here tonight, the one of Julian Altena. Alex Van de Sande going to finish in the fourth spot. Matt Houston back in fifth. Dakota DeMade right there in sixth. Shane Coogan bringing his 29 home in the seventh spot. Oscar Fredrickson making up some positions late in the race. Going to put his 12 machine up in the eighth spot. Ninth place goes to Marcus Houston. And rounding out your top 10 here tonight, last driver on the lead lap, the 27 of Craig Forsyth. The 30 of Diego Perino going to walk away in 11th, while Robert Sadler finishes back in the 12th spot. Nick DeGroot in the 89 walking away in 13th. 14th goes to the 22 of Michael Jeffries. 15th spot to Thomas Gessler. Maxie Stang with some trouble going to be scored 3 laps down in the 16th spot. 17th position goes to Christian Alacio, while Christopher Kresge walks away from the track in the 18th spot. 19th here tonight goes to the 64 of Anthony Concha, while John Christensen rounds out your top 20. Gary Gonzo back in the 21st spot. Bart Feurenstein brings his 13 machine home in the 22nd spot. Dave Stedman in 23rd. And rounding out the field here tonight after early trouble, 19 laps down here tonight, Nikki Racing Team's very own Luis Gonzalez Nunez. That was your unofficial race results. If you haven't already, race fans, throw these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash the bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Whether it's myself, Darkside, Dave in the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters, we do appreciate each and every one of you, each and every time you stop by, whether you're just casually stopping through or you are the dedicated fan, friend, or family. We do appreciate each and every time you stop by and stop through. And you heard it from these race drivers here. Season number 4 signups already underway. So if you're looking for a great IndyCar league to join ovals as well as road course racing here in Velocity Online Racing, head on over to Velocity Online Racing on Facebook as well as iRacing.com. Get hooked up with these drivers and maybe you can find yourself out on the track mixing it up with these very, very talented drivers. Want to give a big time shout out to Raceverse as well, and Matt and everything he does for the league back behind the scenes. Such a commitment and level of commitment to the league that is uncanny. Big time shout out to Matt and Raceverse for sponsoring not just the $100 prize pool in the Drivers' Championship, but also the $50 prize pool in the Team Constructors Championship as well. In big time thank you to tonight's race sponsor, the title sponsor, Clip That, for sponsoring tonight's race, the Clip That Canadian Grand Prix. Clip That, brand new social media platform for gamers, by gamers. If you're looking to just hang out with some like-minded individuals looking to bounce some ideas off of each other, you want to just promote your new stuff, possibly your old stuff on already existing social media, head on over to Clip That. With all that being said, race fans, another great one in the book. So with all that done and out the way, stay safe, stay loved. Until next time, we'll see you in turn 3.